soon, like a ghost in the glow of a neon moon. NFTs in his pocket used to flex that wealth. Mickey and Marvel stacking them shelves, but now they dust, just a digital ghost. Vault's got a pass, but tonight he's the host.
Starting soon, hold your breath. The clock ticks closer to digital death. Vault in the dark, you know the tune. Just wait for it, starting soon.
He sold a Coke NFT, thought it'd never go flat. Now it's worth less than a Subway rat. Universal dreams in a JPEG frame. Vault's fortune faded, but he's still in the game. Keyboard clicks, the chat's alive. The hype's building up like a beehive. This is the wait, the eerie calm before the chaos drops like a ticking bomb.
Starting soon, hold your breath. The clock ticks closer to digital death. Vault in the dark, you know the tune. Just wait for it, starting soon.
Creeping, air feel dense, room full of whispers, none make sense. Heartbeat echoes, the clocks tick slow. Vault cracks open, time to let it show. Specters lurking, cold in the chest. Ghostly voices, paranormally correct. Sips crawl upward, tension in the air. Baseline breathing, drums say beware. Paranormally correct. OG falls in effect. Page electric beats resurrect. On a groove, spirits connect. OG falls in effect. OG falls, always direct. Paranormally correct. OG falls in effect. Energy effect beats resurrect. On a groove, spirits connect. OG falls in effect. OG falls, always direct.
What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday and welcome to this week's Paranormally Correct live stream. Let's go. We got a special guest with us. You guys probably know her from the chat. One of my members of my channel, a longtime supporter, Grandma Moore, and she has her own YouTube channel as well, and it's been growing pretty fast too. So I wanted to have her on here to get her opinions on what we're going to be talking about today, and we have a lot of cool topics to talk about, and I want to give her a chance to tell people about her channel as well. So do you want to introduce yourself and let people know about your channel?
All right, I'm Grandma Moore. I do gig apps, doing DoorDash, Spark, Uber Eats. I do devotions every morning and doing a study on Revelations right now. And then when that's done, I'm hoping to just start from Genesis and move on Thursdays at 10 a.m. So excited to do that and learn and learn and learn.
Awesome, let's go. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me all right. It looks like I kind of didn't think about where I put her camera, and it's going to be right where the chat is, so I'll try not to pull up too many chat comments while we're going. I'll just read them out. And also, not only is Grandma Moore known as a YouTuber and a member of my channel, she's also my big sister, which makes me feel old that somebody named Grandma Moore is my sister, but that is in fact the truth. She is indeed my sister. So yeah, shout out to Wayne Peterson in the chat. Nice to see you, Wayne. Thanks for hanging out with us. We got my man Denny. Ahoy ahoy, Denny. I'm still gonna pull up some comments in front of her face. Sorry, she's my sister, so I'm allowed to do it. Like I said, we got lots of cool stuff to talk about. We're gonna get into some paranormal topics first. I got some ghost videos for you. We're gonna talk about sports, politics, the usual stuff. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it. All right, our first topic is paranormal, and I've got probably what I think is my best ghost video ever. So I'm going to lead up to it, though. We're going to get to it here in a second. When we get to it, I feel like I'm going to blow y'all's mind. I want to hear if there's any skeptics in the chat. But before we do, a big topic that people in the paranormal community, and not even the paranormal community, almost like even in the Christian community, they're talking about this a lot. There's this guy in Ghana, and he calls himself Noah. And he says that God told him, I've heard two different dates here, either that the world is going to start flooding on December 24th or December 25th of this year. And you might say like, that's not a big story or anything, but the thing about it is he's already built 8 arcs, like arc-size arcs. I think they said he's up to 10 now. He's built like 10 arcs. I got a video of them. I don't think it has any sound, but you can see some of the arcs that he's building behind them. And supposedly each arc holds 5,000 people. So I don't know. People are starting to pay attention to it. I guess people are starting to wonder, what if this dude's right? Maybe we need to get on the boat. I don't. Chrissy, have you heard anything? I'm sorry, Grandma Moore, have you heard anything about this?
So the thing is if he's built all these arcs, they made a good point. It's in Ghana. How did they have funding to build all these? And they're saying that one of them is supposed to hold like 600 million people. But how do you fund that? This little town having that many people, that many resources. Some people are saying it's AI. So I don't know.
Wow, that's some good AI. I didn't think about that. That was literally the first thing I thought about when I saw it too. Like, how does he get the funding to build? Because you can see the arcs in the videos. They're really big and they're well made. And there's like 10 of them now. So that's a good question. That's what I thought too. Like, how did they get the funding for it? But I never thought of the idea, maybe it's AI. I'm going to show the video again. I feel like I could spot AI, but these days, maybe not. I don't know. Well, let's look at it one more time. Do y'all think it's AI? Oh, hold on. It'll start here in a second. Rob T says, hey, Grandma. Shout out to Rob T in the chat. And Kathy as well. Thank you for being a member of the channel, Kathy.
Thank you all for saying hi. Hi, Denny. Hi, Wayne. Hi, Kathy.
It's too good to be AI. But what is it if it's not AI? I don't know about a flood. Maybe got buried in snow. Yeah, we got buried in snow over here too. Well, not buried. It's been worse. But we got a snow day. We got to take a day off of snow. All right, y'all. Let's get into the paranormal stuff. Like I said, I got what I think is maybe the best ghost video yet. But before we get to that one, here's another one that's really, really good. And this one comes from an account that was posting videos 17 years ago. So I think this maybe blew up 17 years ago a little bit. You can see a lot of their videos have a lot of views on them. And supposedly this house they moved into had a haunted kitchen. Every time they go into the kitchen, weird stuff would happen. And they started filming it so they could show everybody so they didn't know they were crazy. Now the video I want to show you is their last video, and I'm going to show you that one. But before I do, just as an example of one of those other videos of the activity that they're catching, it'll start off with their third from last video, something they captured. And you'll see how it starts out here. I don't think this has any sound. You'll see what they captured in their kitchen at one point, and then we'll get to that last video, the one that really freaks me out. And then you never hear from it again after this. So they had a camera set up in their kitchen, and apparently there were people working on it, and the workers kept saying that stuff keeps moving around. Whenever they come back, everything's all messed up. So they set up a camera, and you can see. Now, if they did that with the string, I'm always trying to figure out, how they would fake that. If they did that with the string, might be a little tough, but that might be a way to do that. So here, let me pause it for a second before we get into this one. So then, with all this happening, what they decided to do was set up a camera in their kitchen and hope to catch something. And for the first 5 or 6 days, it was nothing. But then the next day they checked, and this is what was on their camera. I have some replays for you. There it goes. So it looks like a little spirit or something. You see it right there? We'll do it again. Slow it down 50%. So yeah, these are some people that already have a little bit of proof that some crazy stuff is happening in their house, and they set up a camera, and that's what they see. I mean, maybe they could have edited it. I don't know. He always says in all of his videos at the beginning, it's 17 years ago, so it looks really ghetto or whatever, but these are not edited. I promise they're not edited. And the first one we looked at, I mean, that could have been a setup. It could have been a string, like I said, but that's not editing. So I don't necessarily think that this guy's editing. However, what else is it? It's either an edit or a ghost. What do you think about it?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Have I never told you my ghost story?
No. What's your ghost story?
Do you remember the house I lived in college sophomore year that was like really big? I don't know if you were ever there.
In Terre Haute? Yep.
Yeah, okay, so they had a historic plaque on it because it was super, super old, and it used to be used at a bed and breakfast. And I stayed on the 3rd floor, me and one of my friends, and there were like these really small rooms, right? So one night, and I've told this story on my channel a couple of times. It's been a while though, so I won't get too deep into it. But one night, well, before I do, this is something I don't think I've mentioned before. Every once in a while at nighttime, I would hear like caroling sound coming from the window. And I'd even ask my friend about it. He heard it too. I looked out the window. I'd never seen anything. Anyway, one night I was up to like 3 o'clock in the morning, And I just go in to lay down and to go to bed, get my pajamas on. I sit down on the bed and I lay that back and I look at my door, which is in front of me, and I see an old lady, translucent, walk in through the door, sit down on my bed, and I reach up to touch her and she disappears.
Oh my gosh, that's scary.
I seen it with my own eyes, so you can't tell me nothing.
I believe in ghosts.
You
Our house in New Albany, there was one of the rooms, and Toby, which is my Antillean Shepherd. If you don't know what an Antillean Shepherd is a Mastiff Shepherd mix. He was a big, big dog, not scared of anything, but he was scared of this corner in the room, and he'd sit there and growl at it, and there would be nothing there. He'd growl, and we would be in the front room, and the kitchen's on the opposite end of the house, and the cabinet doors would open and shut, lights would go on and off, and so I knew there was definitely ghost in that house.
Yeah.
A ghost, a lady ghost.
It's, yeah, once you experience it yourself, it's hard to tell you otherwise. Diddy says, I did think it was AI at first, but not 100% on it. I mean, it's gone. Somebody should go there with their own, camera and find out if it's real. Wayne says AI can fake anything these days. I know, it's getting ridiculously good, especially like Suno 3, I think is the new one. No, it gets worse, Denny. All right, I'm going to give y'all the next one. I dig deep for this stuff for y'all, and I make sure I get stuff that is going to be not only accurate, but something that you could tell that this person isn't doing this just to get clicks, right? So this one, the last one, is from 2010, and it happened in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And what had happened was there was this hospital, I don't know why it's CHI, but it's a Memorial Hospital in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and people kept complaining that they kept seeing this little girl, like a ghost girl, running around through the cafeteria, and like, it wasn't just like one or two people. It happened all the freaking time. And it was so ridiculous that one of the workers decided that he was going to take a camera and go see if he could catch the ghost himself on camera. And you can see this guy's YouTube account. So this guy has like 20 something subscribers. This video I'm about to show you has only 2,000 views. So nobody really knows about this. But wait till I show it to you. So like I said, this was something that everybody knew was happening. He decided to go there. He worked there. He went to go and see if he could catch it on camera himself. And this is what he caught on camera. I'm going to show you the video, and then it'll play again. I got some editing for you, and then I'm going to slow it down 50% a couple times.
All right, we're at Subway at Memorial Hospital, and there's been reports of ghost activity. Maybe we'll get lucky and capture a ghost. It's the ghost of a little girl. Oh my god, there she was! It's the ghost of a little girl. Oh my god, there she was!
We'll slow it down for you. Bro, what do you guys say in the chat about that? That one was ridiculous.
I just now saw it.
I know you're a little bit of lag on the one that you're watching, but oh my goodness. Let's see what Wade said. He said, I had a spirit, my guardian angel. I've heard a lot of people say that they have guardian angels strangling me on September 3rd. And what kind of guardian angel would strangle you? I don't think that's a guardian angel. That's a demon, which prompted me to go to the doctor. Oh, turned out I was having a heart attack. Wow. That's crazy. And it's just somebody in the chat. It's not like something that you're just reading online. You can't believe it. It's just a person in the chat actually happened to them. And I've heard people talk about guardian angels. Did I lose your volume? Did you mute yourself, Chrissy? Grandma Moore, did you mute yourself? What'd y'all think about that? I didn't touch anything, so I don't know. I can't hear you now. Danny liked it. Then he said, I bet he peed a little. You saw him take off. That's what he wanted to see, and he got to see what he wanted to see. That's weird. Yeah, it was working perfectly fine, and then just out of nowhere. Let me try to mute and unmute you. No, I don't know. I can't hear you now. Lost your volume. Unplug your microphone and plug it back in, maybe. Turn it off, turn it back on. We got together a little bit early to make sure everything was working. We had no problems at all. So maybe it's because I played a video, but I don't think so. I don't know why that would mess with your volume. But those were my two videos.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Welcome back.
I don't know. Sorry. I was just saying I'm glad that that Wayne was able to find out he was having a heart attack. Guys, everything was okay.
Yeah.
And he's here with us. And
damn, he has a guardian angel looking out for him. That's wild. I know it
Yes,
is
he
wild.
does.
And he's doing well now. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Well, so, what do you think about that ghost video? Editing? You think it's legit? Like I said, it's 10 years old. So, if they were editing, it was a long time ago. They didn't have as good of software as they do now.
It took me a minute, and then when I saw him run across, it was like, what? That was pretty freaky.
Yeah, that's a wild one. I saw that. I thought it was pretty crazy. Not a lot of people have seen it too. So, next week I've got some UFO videos. I've already got one encounter in particular that I'm already studying. So we'll be checking out some UFO videos next week for sure. You're loud and clear. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah, there was a little bit of a
All right.
sound problem for a second. I have, if you're new to the channel, I have technical difficulties pretty much every stream. The last stream crashed twice and I gave up. So I fixed that problem though, y'all. So we shouldn't have a crash this time. All right, let's move on to our sports topic. And we have several topics. I actually added one at the end here that I wanted to talk about, but we gotta always start off with the fun stuff. There's my man Abdullah in the chat. What's up, Abdullah? Good to see you. All right, the first topic when it comes to sports, like I said, a little bit, I don't know, maybe it's not funny. We'll see what Grandma Moore thinks, but congratulations to Donald Trump. He has been awarded the first ever FIFA Peace Prize. So a lot of people are kind of making fun of him for this because he was whining about not getting the Nobel Peace Prize for so long, and it looks like that the president, I think, of FIFA is the person who decided unilaterally to make this decision to give him this new Peace Prize, and he's hyped about it. I don't know. What do you think about it, Grandma Moore?
I think it sounds a little political and corrupt. Why does Trump get the very first one? I think it's crazy.
I don't understand why he wants to appease Trump. The World Cup is already in the Americas, so I mean, I don't understand what he gets from it, but maybe there's something under the table. I have no idea. It's weird.
It is really weird. When I saw that, I'm like, what? This doesn't even make sense to me. But I guess, certain people need their ego boosted. So for some reason, FIFA felt like Trump needed his ego boosted.
It worked. That dude's definitely going to be on his Christmas list this year. Didn't he? I've never seen a full baby ghost, a full body ghost, but I've seen some weird lights and strange things happen. Weird enough for me to not believe. I hear you. And I've never seen a UFO myself. I've seen some weird, exactly just like you. Nothing I would say is a UFO, but I've seen enough evidence that I feel like I believe. But when it comes to the ghosts, I seen it with my own eyes. I saw this apparently because of this Peace Prize. Now this guy's under investigation because he gave it to him unilaterally, and he might lose his job. I don't know if that's just people on the left coping or if that's a legit thing. I didn't read the whole entire article, but I did see where Gavin Newsom also was able to get himself a Peace Prize. It looks like he was awarded the inaugural Coles Peace Prize, which comes with $50 in coat. Wait, I don't think that's real. Never mind. Let me get that out of here. Sorry about that. Wayne says, my Vikings suck this year. Vikings stink this year. They're usually good. My coach started off good, but I don't know what happened to him the last couple of weeks. But there's been a lot of teams like that. They started off good, and then they get beat by bad teams. All right, y'all, let's move on to our next topic in sports. I don't know how many people follow basketball. If so, then you probably heard about CP3, Chris Paul. He's a Hall of Fame player, and I think he's probably pushing 40, maybe 39, 40. And he was playing for the Clippers, and the Clippers suddenly released him, and it's been pretty dramatic and controversial in the sports or in the NBA world because he's such a legend that some people feel like it was really disrespectful. And on the other hand, people are starting to talk about what he's really like as a teammate. And the one thing I don't think people are mentioning about it is that last year he played for the Spurs, and not only did he play every game, all 82 games, he started all 82 games. So I don't think he was really ready to retire. He sees LeBron playing, so I think he was trying to keep playing. They weren't letting him play, and that was making him upset. So one of the rumors they were talking about is during a recent game, whenever they were playing the Mavericks, Chris Paul was telling Kawhi Leonard that he should switch off of Klay because Kawhi was struggling, and then him and Kawhi got into a little bit of an argument. I have a video about it, but before I do, here's a statement from the Los Angeles Clippers front office about it. They said Chris Paul was trying to win, and that did not align with our organizational expectation. I'm sorry, that's another meme. Sorry about that, y'all. Let me run the CP3 video, and I made it real quick, but there's a link down to a whole entire video of several times when things like this happen between Kawhi and CP3. So check it out.
On this one, Klay comes off the screen, and Kawhi had a lot of trouble navigating that screen. So Paul asked Kawhi in the huddle if he preferred to switch off of him. And apparently, Jeff Van Gundy did not like that Paul had even made that suggestion. This is a microcosm of what's been going on in LA. The Clippers, despite being a veteran group, have been lacking energy and effort. Kawhi Leonard has not been the most engaged with the simple things, but it's not just him either.
So yeah, that's basically the gist of the whole CP3 controversy right now. There's a lot of people that are on his side, a lot of old teammates that he's friends with that are sticking up for him, and a lot of people that he made mad in the past that are doing the opposite of sticking up for him. So it's pretty interesting to see all the chat shows about it right now.
But what do you think about the Clippers being having an open investigation for prohibited endorsement? Do you think it has anything to do with it?
Well, that's
And then
that's
you're
from
saying it's-
Kawhi. I don't know if that would have anything to do with it, but that's something that they're probably feeling a lot of heat about too. I think it was like Tyrone Lue, which is their coach, and Chris Paul not getting along because they're both point guards. And if people in the chat, if you don't know who Tyrone Lue is, that's their coach of the Clippers right now, but you would remember him as a Laker. He's the dude that Allen Iverson stepped over in that famous play whenever he hit the shot and then stepped over the guy. That was Tyrone Lue. And apparently they're not getting along. And I don't know, it just didn't work out. But I agree, he's a legend. You should treat him with respect, but he's gotta come with respect too. So yeah, we've been talking about those scandals going on with the endorsements, but it seems like mainstream media doesn't want to talk about it very much, and I think that's because maybe they're getting paid off or something not to talk about it, because it seems like a bigger story than what they're making it. Yeah, as a baseball card collector, I did want to mention this too. This is something that's new that couldn't find any articles about it. Nobody's really talking about it yet. But in the baseball card and Pokemon card communities, this is really big over the last 3 or 4 days. So this guy says that he was sending off his PSA 9 Pokemon cards, sending them back to PSA, which is the company that grades them, and they had this buyback program. So you can see he had this PSA 9 card right here. He sold it back to him with the estimated value of $36.63. And then the company, PSA, took that card out of the PSA 9 and put it into a PSA 10 and sold it as a PSA 10. You can see the mint number right here, 134008908. That's how you know it's the same card that he sent back to the buyback program as a grade 9. And the company themselves, took it out of there and made it a grade 10 and then sold it back at grade 10 prices. So people are so mad about this. People are saying grade 9s are now basically worth the same amount as grade 10s because they're doing this. And once again, strangely, nobody in the media is really talking about it. But it's baseball cards. But even in the baseball card media, like, you don't hear about it on SportsCenter. So I don't know. As a baseball card collector myself, I think that's wild. I never liked graded cards anyway. I like them raw. And if they're doing, I mean, there's always seems like there's shadiness to it. I sent off a few cards myself to get graded, and like 2 of them are identical. One of them comes back as a 9 and one comes back as a 10. It's like, who makes that judgment? But yeah, with all the scandals going on with PSA, they might start to drop as no longer the leader in baseball card grading. Or Pokemon card. Pokemon cards are bigger than baseball cards these days. All right. I just wanted to mention that because I know some of my subscribers collect cards just like I do. All right, let's get into politics, though. We got lots of stuff in politics to talk about. If you're new to the channel, I'm more on the left, I guess, and Grandma Moore seems more on the right. I mean, I know her personally, so I know that she's more on the right, but you can tell if you've seen her in the comments, but not always. We agree on some stuff. Dino EC agrees. Yes, I'm the same. I like my stuff raw. All right, y'all. So first up in politics, I kind of wanted to talk about the Republican Civil War that's going on. So I don't know what that news outlets are talking about on the right, but on the left, this is like the top thing that they keep bringing up. And this was a article I read. I can't remember exactly where it's from, but the link, of course, is in the description, where they try to separate the Republicans into like 5 groups. You got I guess they call them the culture warriors, with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ted Cruz. And then you got the economic purists with, I guess Trump would probably be in that one. And the neocons, which I never really understood what neocons means. The moderates, of course, with people like old girl Susan Collins. And I don't know if I can even read that last one. But which one of these do you think you would be in? You probably with the culture warriors because you're with MTG.
Probably. I don't know. I haven't heard of these, so this is new to me. But I know
I felt like the war was between like MAGA versus the Groypers. Do you know who the Groypers are?
No, I haven't heard of that either.
What? Shout out to SDs in the chat. Good to see you, my man. Thanks for hanging out. This is my weekly Tuesday show. We're talking politics now, but we talk all kinds of different topics. Do you know who Nick Fuentes is?
Yes.
So the people that follow him are called the Groypers.
Oh, yeah, so I wouldn't do that.
So I feel like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson would fall in with Nick Fuentes against the other side, no?
No, no, they are not on the same page. No.
So where do you see the division in the Republican Party?
Well, I think the MAGA movement is slowly disappearing, and I don't think the Democrat Party or the Republican Party have any strong points at this. It just keeps just getting worse and worse and worse. So at some point, we need another party or something, because on either side, who do you have that's strong and going to stand up for what's right? So for the Republican Party, I just think that the MAGA group is slowly deteriorating, but they don't want to make Trump mad, so they pretend to be, at least the congressmen and senators or whatever, pretend to be, even though they might not really.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. That makes sense. And definitely the Democrats don't have any type of leadership right now. They need to be more progressive, as I always say, but they definitely push against progressiveness. And the media somehow labels all the things that progressives want as extreme, even though something like universal health care is something that the majority of people want, and that every industrialized nation in the world besides us has. What do you think about universal health care? Do you think that's something America should have?
So when I was in college, all my papers were on universal health care. I was all for it. I did every single paper I had was about universal health care. And the trick about college is you take the one subject and you make it for every class. It makes life a lot easier. So that was I really was for it. Then, I went to Hungary, it'll be 2 years ago. And I saw how that worked with my grandchildren and the pediatrician situation. No, I do not want universal health care. Absolutely not. And then I've been reading about, how the EU is falling apart. They're wanting the countries to be separate. They're really fighting this. So that's one place that, universal health care is a big thing. Now in Russia, when I went there and I had to have a COVID test to get back to the States and do all that, it was super easy. And you had control over yourself, and you didn't have all these restrictions and have tos. It was a lot more comfortable. Now, how Russia did it was a lot better. But the EU, I think that should not be an example of how we do it. So it needs to be something in between. Universal health care. We can't keep what we've got because they're controlling everything, and we can't get good health care.
No, I think health insurance companies are middlemen, leeches that do literally nothing for society except for take money. And the only way to get rid of health insurance companies is to have universal health care. I think rich people can still have their special private health care that costs a lot, but I think universal health care is not only better for our economy, it's better for our country's health. And then we can start doing preventative health care, and then that will prevent more disease that we'd have to take care of in the future.
That's what all my papers were for, and I agreed until I saw in action where you have no control over at least what I saw when I was in Hungary, you had no control over yourself.
You're talking about Viktor Orban's country. I mean, he's like a dictator.
And I don't know, the doctor, it was crazy. It was like, you either get your kid their vaccine in the next 4 hours, or we're coming to get your child, kind of thing. And I don't think that was right.
No, but again, that's an Eastern European dictatorship compared to like something like Norway or Finland.
Yeah, and I like I said, Russia has it, and their whole healthcare system seems to be really great. It was super cheap. It was super easy. So that made it, when I had to go get all that, and I actually went into the doctor's office and took care of that. And it was like hardly nothing. The pharmacy was easy. And why is it that the medicines that they sell in these other countries are nothing like what we have? So I have stomach issues. I have to have like a Rolaids or Tums, but you don't find that there. You find these other things that are a lot less ingredients, faster working, but we have all these things that have all these side effects, and it has so many ingredients, and you have to take medicine to take care of the side effects.
Because our stuff's probably cheaper to make. Our stuff's probably cheaper to make and probably costs more. They want to make that profit. So let me catch up with the chat. Wayne says, I think that's the isolationists with Rand. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Well, it's like libertarians. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Isolationists. Sorry, when it's on my screen, it's a little bit smaller. So, and I got badass. I agree with Grandma. A third party, maybe the common sense party, is what is needed. I actually think a fourth party. I think the Republicans are split off between whatever they are and MAGA, and then the Democrats should split off between the establishment people and the progressives. But it'll never happen. In my
Thank you,
opinion,
Wayne, for agreeing with me.
the party system is broken altogether. We need a huge change. 100%. The two-party system does not
Yeah.
benefit the citizens. The problem is the free healthcare system here is fairly similar. If we had Medicare for all, I don't necessarily know if that's the best approach. I just think we need to get rid of insurance companies. I think they're bad for society in general. All right, let's move on to Tim Pool. I wanted to talk about this because I was asking Grandma Moore some topics, some random topics that she had been listening or watching on whatever she gets her news from. And she was mentioning how Tim Pool had claimed that someone opened fire on his property just a few days ago. So I did some research on it. I was curious about it. And what I got from, I guess, my biased sources possibly is that if you look back at December 5th of 2022, Tim Pool tweeted that there's a 9mm bullet lodged in my kitchen now. So he's claimed that his house got shot then. And then if you go to 2024, he says, last night a vehicle approached our property and opened fire. No one was hurt. And it's kind of like the same thing that he's saying here. So it's happened like 3 different times, yet he's never once reported it to the police. And he also has a whole lot of cameras at his place, and he's never showed or had any video of someone shooting at him. And it seems to happen every time he starts to lose followers or viewers or whatever. So I don't know. He's saying now that he's about to quit. He's mad. This guy here says it's because Russia cut off his $100K a week, which I think is pretty crazy that he got paid by Russia that much, and then they just act like it was no big deal and went on with it. Do you watch Tim Pool?
I do sometimes, but people are asking, hey, what kind of car went by? Give us details, because I think a lot of people aren't believing him.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you cry wolf 3 or 4 times, then
Right.
yeah, you got to prove
But
it.
I don't know if you watched it. So I guess the day of or the day before, he had Milo on, and they were talking pretty bad about Charlie Kirk, and like said he was going to leave and divorce Erica, and that he was gay and all these things. And they said that was the reason why somebody went by and shot up at his place. But that was just the rumors I've heard.
No, I mean, that would make sense. People get upset not only at the fact they're talking about Charlie Kirk, people just really hate Milo Yiannopoulos a whole lot. Like, he's been shot at before, I think. DLC says, my mom has cancer. Sorry to hear it. Can't get a stem cell transplant because of her age. And I think Denny's in Canada. Only thing will save her, even if she wants to pay for it here, she can't get one. Only thing will save her. And she can't get one. Why can't she get one? Is it like a wait list or something? What's holding her back from getting one? I guess that's that
sorry to hear
universal
that,
health care. I know a lot of people in Canada, at least in my chat, complain about the universal health care there. I still feel like it's better than what we got. I heard he might stop his podcast, according to Officer Tatum. Yeah, that's what I was putting right here. He's saying, I don't believe it, though. I think he's made so much money that he's going to be just fine. Maybe he's spending a lot of money on the compound where he lives. But since you brought up Charlie Kirk, and I don't really have a whole lot of stuff here about Charlie Kirk or Candace on here. I did have the Tim Pool thing, but I wanted to see what you think about Charlie Kirk, because I know I've brought it up several times during my live streams, and I don't necessarily believe the FBI's story about it being '06 or whatever. From all the professionals, they say that that's not even possible. So what do you think is going on with that? You think they're lying about it? Who's lying about it? Who really did it? Do you believe Candace's theories? I don't know.
Well, I really like Candace. I think even if she may be stretching things, I don't know. I really like her. I watch her all the time. I think she has great questions. She's doing fantastic research. And I kind of see her as the hub of the information. So that's nice to have somebody that's gathering all this information and seeing what's going on. Is he alive? Is he dead? It's just kind of weird. There was no blood.
What do you mean? There was no blood with Charlie Kirk? I saw the blood squirting out his neck.
When they're carrying him to the car, where nobody has blood on them. None of the security guards. There's no blood trails. There's no blood. Where did you see blood at?
There should be.
You see it for a minute, just a little bit.
There should be a lot. You're right. There should be a lot of blood. And that one guy who was on the phone, his dad said that he had blood all over him, but he didn't have a speck of blood on him.
Not one speck. That whole thing, Mikey McCoy,
Yeah.
that seems super strange. And right, he's on the phone and hurries up and walks out. Don't duck, don't do anything. So I think that's strange. I think the whole situation is really, really, there's definitely some bad stuff going on there. And I think it's important. I mean, you can't bring Charlie back. You can't do anything about that. But what is going on and what's the corruption and being able to call it out? People are donating, Turning Point is a multi-million-dollar organization. If there's corruption and they're tax-free on top of that, it has to be called out. You have to point it out. Plus, if there's other things going on, so like Candace is saying, somebody has an assassination claim against her or whatever, and then our government doesn't do anything about it, and it's supposed to be a foreign place. So what the heck? I mean, what's going on, and why aren't we taking care of each other? And I think there's so much deep stuff, but in the process of this, I think you're going to see connections in all different places, and then we can go forward. Who's corrupting who's being compromised? And I think that's what our problem is with politics right now, being compromised. You've got, either foreign countries or, like you said, the pharmaceuticals, the health insurance. You've got all these people controlling, all these companies and different organizations controlling our politics, and they need to get out of it, but we can't do anything about it until somebody researches it. And I appreciate Candace at least looking into it.
Yeah, and I see those connections between the fact that he was just kind of turning on Israel, and I feel like Israel plays a big role in this. Shout out to the homie Dr. Strange is in the chat. Good to see you, my man. So I want to see what your opinion is on that, because that kind of feels like the crux between the Civil War and the Republican Party is like who's on Israel's side and who's not on Israel's side. And I think Charlie Kirk started off on Israel's side and was funded by Israel, but Candace has shown a lot of proof that he was in the process of turning against Israel. So do you think that Israel had anything to do with Charlie Kirk's death? And are you a supporter of Israel? Were you a supporter? I really never paid attention to it, but now that I know what all's going on, I'm like, ew.
So I'm doing this study on Revelations, and I'm kind of trying to dig in deep. I'm going down some rabbit holes. And what was interesting is in the Bible, God started calling Jacob Israel. And then you have the tribes of Israel, right? Which is Jacob's children. So at this point, I think they're pushing us to believe that we have to support Israel. It's in the Bible. But as I'm learning and kind of investigating all of this and seeing the maps and seeing what the Bible says, I think tribes of Israel is just the people. I don't think it's necessarily the nation. And I think that they've held that over our heads because the Bible says we have to support Israel. We have to support Israel. But then if you start mapping out what the Bible says, where Israel's located isn't necessarily what it's talking about, because it's talking about Euphrates River all the way to, I think it was the Red Sea. And Israel's up at the very top of, the Mediterranean Sea or whatever, where Gaza is. Gaza wasn't even part of Israel. So, and then Israel wasn't even a nation for 2,000 years. They quit being a nation in 776 BC and didn't become a nation again until 1948 AD. So what the heck? And so it's not making sense to me at all. And so as I'm doing this study, I'm learning a lot about I feel like we're being gaslit, manipulated to support this country just because the Bible says to. But that's not really what the Bible says. I'm thinking so far in my study.
Dr. Strange agrees with you, and so do I. But the question is, why? So how do they have so much control over us? Is it because Jeffrey Epstein has dirt on everybody?
So the Mossad. Right. So you have the Mossad, but I think that you have, I don't know how they'll use it, like the Bible Belt thing. And so I think they just twisted. We all go to, I feel like, go to church, we're sheep. They said you have to support Israel. So then they were able to make that happen by using the Bible against us, by using the preachers to preach this. And so then it was indoctrinated in our head that we have to support them. And they became powerful through that support. And now they can control everybody because, we have to support them. We have to go there and
because God says so.
Do all this biblical stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's all about biblical.
And Dr. Strange says your study should lead you to Ethiopia because he believes that the real Jews that were in the Bible are actually black people. And there's a little bit of stuff to support it. I haven't gotten into the whole theory, but if you look at the people who claim to be the original Israelis, Jewish people of the Bible, and you do DNA research on them, they're all from Eastern Europe. So I feel
So
like they maybe even took the place, like these group of people knew that in the Bible it says the Jews are the chosen people, and we don't know who the Jews are. We'll be the Jews, and we'll be the chosen people, and then we'll get all the stuff.
right. I don't disagree. And then, but yeah, so when I started looking in Revelations, when it starts out, they're writing, John's writing a letter to the 7 churches. 7 churches are in Turkey. They're not even in Israel.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it talks a lot about Babylon. Well, where's Babylon? Babylon is in Iran. It's not even in Israel. So, and what was it? Jerusalem and Bethlehem was in Pakistan. So, I mean, I forget what it was called back then, but none of it. It's just like, how have we been so manipulated to believe that this little spot was what we're supposed to support? And when you start reading the Bible and then you actually look at the maps, there's no way. It's just, we're being gaslit. And we allowed it to happen to ourselves because we didn't research it ourselves. And that's why I started doing this, because I don't want to just be a sheep.
Let me catch you with the chat, but I just want to say one thing about it, though. It's like, what is the point, if there's any at all, of researching the King James Version of the Bible? It is a completely different book than the Hebrew Bible.
But I don't know Hebrew, and I agree with you.
You can get an exact translation. They put those out. If you look at the original Hebrew Bible, God had a father, he had a wife, he had a brother. But in the King James Version Bible, there's only one God.
So in college, I took a lot of different religious studies, and actually had a Jewish professor, and then a lot of literature courses. There's several books of the Bible that didn't even make it in. Several books that was written for the Bible that didn't make it into the Bible. So then you question that. There are so many things that you can really go down rabbit holes.
Yeah.
So you take what you've got and try to navigate that. And as you navigate that, then you can expand yourself.
Yeah.
And I had overexpanded myself when I was in college learning all these things. So now I'm back to the basics. Let me learn what I can and then add those other pieces. And some of the pieces that are missing actually empower women. Because the Bible we have now don't really do that much, but is it the Gnostics? I think, don't hold me to it, but I'm thinking it's the book, the Gnostic books, and it's a lot of women stuff. So it's just interesting.
Danu says Jesus is black. I always remember there was a girl in middle school or elementary. She always had a shirt that said Jesus is black, and then underneath it she had a Bible verse that is a literal Bible verse from the Bible that says Jesus' hair was made of wool or something like that. And that doesn't sound like a white person's hair. So maybe there's something to that. I don't know. Dr. Strange says America is Egypt. And they found some weird Egyptian stuff, like in the Grand Canyon, too. I got to get deeper into this. Doc Strange knows all about it. Me and Doc used to do our show together called The Strange Vault. I'm going to have him on one time, too, and we're going to dig deep into that. I've already told him. All you need is me to feel that third. Hey, I told you, anytime you want to come on, Doc, I got you. All right, let's move on to the next topic. We could talk about religion all day, but I don't want to make anybody mad because I get deep into it. I'm personally an agnostic theist, if you didn't know. It's the opposite of an atheist. An agnostic means I don't know what the higher power is, but I believe a higher power exists. All right, when we get to the Venezuela stuff, I'll start off talking about the boats that are getting bombed in Venezuela. And this first thing is a quick little video of two interviews that Trump did to see how honest he is about what's really going on here.
You released video of that first boat strike on September 2nd, but not the second video. Will you release video of that strike so that the American people can see for themselves what happened?
I don't know what they have, but whatever they have, we'd certainly release, no problem.
You said you would have no problem with releasing the full video of that strike on September 2nd off the coast of Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth now says...
You said that. I didn't say that. This is ABC fake news.
So what happened, if you didn't see it, was first they interviewed him and asked him if they were going to release the second video whenever they did the double tap and shot the boat a second time to kill the survivors? And he said he has no problem with that. Yeah, absolutely. And then 5 days later, the same reporter asked him, use his exact words, you said you have no problem. And his answer was, I didn't say that. You're fake news. What a douche. I don't know how anybody can trust that guy. All right, let's get into some of the stuff going on in Venezuela. If you didn't know already, Venezuela does have the largest oil reserves on the planet, in the world. So most people would agree that this is about oil. I've been seeing stuff even on Facebook where people are like, oh, it's all that fentanyl is coming from Venezuela. Zero, like I said, zero fentanyl comes from Venezuela. And the cocaine that comes from Venezuela doesn't even go to America. It goes to Africa. So... And Trump just pardoned a hardcore Honduran cocaine trafficker. So what I wanted to ask, and what didn't make sense to me, is if Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the planet, then why are they not rich? Because Saudi Arabia has like the second largest, they're rich. Qatar, rich. So it says that Venezuela is considered a resource curse. So when a country has a large natural resources, sometimes they become worse off because of it. The government becomes dependent on only one commodity, their oil, so all the other industries collapse. And then corruption increases because these people are at the top getting all the money from the oil and just keeping it for themselves. And you can see when you look at the skyline of Venezuela, you got like this small little city with some high rises, I guess, semi-high rises, but then all scattered out around it are these bungalows, little tiny huts made out of cardboard and stuff, because that's the problem. You can't run stuff like that, and that's why they're collapsing. PDVSA, that was like their national oil program. They used to produce 3.5 million barrels per day, but now they're under 1 million, so they're not getting the money. That's why they're not a rich company like they should be. And they didn't maintain their equipment or refineries. There's a lot of corruption going on there. So I feel like the reason why Trump wants to go in right now, and I've kind of showed proof several weeks in a row now, is to get the oil. But everybody over there says no, it's for the drugs. So I don't know, what do you think about it, Grandma?
So I don't know if you've looked at it, but I looked at it close and far out. The petrodollar is what the United States finances go by. So we don't have the gold no more. So it's all about the petrodollar. And our petrodollar right now, as we speak, is the negative. So the way you get, how the petrodollar works? So we want all the oil to be sold in dollar. So you've got to increase the petrodollar to increase the value of our dollar, to increase our finances. So of course it's about the oil, but most importantly it's about the petrodollar. And that's why there was such a fight a few years ago, because when Russia was starting to do all the oil and stuff, it was taking away the petrodollar. So in the last 5 years, it's had a few spikes, but now it's negative. And that's the whole point, is to get that petrodollar up, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure they want to do that. But the thing is, who are the people that are going to benefit from it? Like, once we go in there and take their oil, who gets the oil? It's not like it's America's citizens' oil. It's the oil companies. It's the CEO's oil. They're keeping that oil. They're keeping all the profits themselves. And yay, they stabilize our dollar, but they're hoarding all the money. So when there's less money in circulation, the value the prices go up.
All right. So Venezuelan government owns 50%. Chevron has 25%. And Chevron's been kind of the target here during Biden and Trump. Okay, we're going to make it where you can't get the oil from Venezuela. Okay, now you can. And they're going back and forth, but they're selling that oil back to us, but it keeps the petrodollar going. China owns 10%, Russia's 10%, and Europe's 5%. I don't want to say own, but that's who is doing the oil over there, right? Mm-hmm. So my thing is, we shouldn't be over there at all, but we have all these ships. When they sent the USS Gerald Ford over there in the Caribbean, it's crazy. And then what's really weird, as I'm researching this, some people are saying the Russian warships are there. Some are saying they might go there. Either way, Russia is giving them Venezuelan military equipment. But it's really weird that you can't get a definite answer. I've watched several things. They're showing where the warships are going over, but I'm not sure. They did port at one point, but was it for exercise or not? So I cannot confirm if Russian warships are in the water. They're saying that they're in the area, and then Venezuela just got 5,600 troops ready to go. So it's just really scary. And so who supports them? Russia, China, Cuba. I have a list. Iran, Turkey, and then some of the little places there. So what's really weird is on December 7th, Maduro, the president of Venezuela, tried to make a $200 million deal with Trump. He says, okay, he wants this $200 million deal, but he has to have immunity, and 100 of the top officials do too. And the deal just fell apart.
What did we get from it?
What do we get from it?
All the oil?
Well, the whole point is, so starting with George W. Bush in the 2000s, is they wanted to get rid of, they wanted some kind of control over them. And then in 2014, Obama started sending sanctions over them. And then it just keeps building up and keeps building up. And then Trump added sanctions, more sanctions on them. And then Biden kind of loosened them up, but put a bounty on Maduro's head, supposedly. Mm-hmm. And then now that Trump's back in, now he's cranking it back up. So the only thing there is the oil, but they're saying that Venezuela is the #1 human trafficking place.
Yeah,
so,
and they're also saying the fentanyl's coming from there, so I don't know if I believe that. I think they just want an excuse to attack. Let me catch up with the chat. Dr. Strange says that stroke he suffered on Labor Day is doing a number on him. I showed pictures of that. Nobody ever said anything else about it after that day, too, but it looked like his face was drooping like he had just had a stroke and then disappeared for a couple of days. Denny agrees it's about the oil. I think it's obvious. Why are they lying? It's always about the dollar at the end of the day. True. Whether America or Africa or anywhere, drug smuggling is wrong. Not wrong enough to shoot the people on the boat without any proof or anything. It ain't that wrong. Nothing's that wrong. Dr. Straight says, Citgo gas stations. I directly owned Venezuelan gas station franchise in the United States. Not so much anymore. Haven't seen Citgo. I've seen some Citgos. The beef started years ago. Trump's first term, he said oil. Yeah, he said it about Venezuela too. And whenever he was not in office, between his first and second term, he was saying, I should have done more in Venezuela. We could have taken the oil. Now that he's back in office, it's really just about the drugs. Doc says, well, it's military operations. We should not and will not never know exactly where everything or one is. And that's what I wanted to mention about Charlie Kirk, too. It's going to be like JFK. We want some answers. We hope to get answers, but we're not going to get any answers on that ever. It's all going to be a conspiracy theory for the next couple hundred years. Just some president 200 years from now releases the info, maybe. Then he says, smuggling anything is wrong, but I really don't think the fent being sold on our streets is from anywhere in Central America. Now, they say all the stuff to make the fentanyl comes from China. It gets sent to Mexico, and then it gets smuggled in through the border through American citizens. Doc says, wait till you look into how many times we tried to start a coup in Venezuela and failed, how many operatives we have lost. I didn't know that. I'm sure we started a couple of times. I didn't know there was multiple times, but yeah. I believe it. And yeah, I have a clip here from where the Pentagon was saying a nuclear Russian submarine carrying guided missiles was in the area. And I don't necessarily think that Russia's military is as strong as what you're saying, because, I mean, I don't think anybody feels really threatened by them. They don't have a big military, like, compared to everybody else in the world. And they're fighting Ukraine at the same time, and they're getting their butts kicked by Ukraine. So I don't know if people, but they do have a nuclear submarine. You can't mess with that. You can't do anything about that. This is kind of related to it, I think. Well, maybe this one isn't so much related to it. This was brand new. This just happened where the White House has announced a $12 billion plan to give money to the farmers to bail them out because they're not able to sell. For instance, their soybeans is one big example. They're not able to sell them anymore, and that's because of the tariffs that Trump put on originally. So because the tariffs have hurt the farmers so much, he now needs to use socialism to save the farmers. And this whole time they're talking about how horrible socialism is, and we have to stay away from socialism. And Chrissy, or Grandma, you probably heard me talk about socialism on here many times. What do you think about it?
You know, I think that we could be smart. We don't have to have socialism, but we could be smart. We pay city workers to trim trees and to mow grass. Why
That's socialism, right, though? Is that socialism to you? Because I want to understand what your definition is.
Well, what I was going to say is why can't we have fruit trees and gardens? Those city workers are already doing that the trimming the trees and mowing the grass, why can't they tend to fruit trees and gardens? Do things that make common sense, that doesn't necessarily cost people stuff, and that people aren't controlled. So to me, socialism is to equal people out to some extent, but I don't want that. I want to be able to, if I work hard, I get a reward. If I don't work hard, then I pay for that. But there's common sense where we can help each other in simple things like gardens and fruit trees, or and then not have to go and go to the welfare office and be asked a million questions or whatever. Why don't we do things, make common sense to help each other? And this whole price thing for the houses is ridiculous. How do they expect anybody to live? They want to keep us busy, so we don't know what's going on in the world. And they could do all this stuff and gaslight us.
And so that you need your job and you won't leave your job. They want you to have to keep your job. That's another reason why they don't want public health care. They want you to be. That's why they keep the H-1B visa people so much. That's why people like me can't get a job with a degree in computer science, because you can't hold me hostage like you can somebody from India that's on an H-1B visa that will get deported if they quit their job. Dr. Strange says around when we took out the first or second Venezuelan boat, they caught a couple of CIA ops in Venezuela. I think I saw that. I saw about that. I did hear a little bit about that on some of the weird little channels that I watch. But yeah, we are always trying to do stuff in Venezuela because they got the highest oil reserves, so of course we are. Shout out to John's in the chat. Good to see you. My man says drugs entering this country by way of water are down 92%. So whose side are you on? 92% from what? It's like 18 barrels of cocaine used to come in by water. Now only 6 do. Like, who's dying of cocaine? Like, they're Venezuelan boats don't come to America with the cocaine. They go to Africa. So, yeah, I don't understand why you would even believe Trump telling you why he's killing these people. For one, you know it's about the oil. And for two, he doesn't provide any type of proof or evidence whatsoever. So how do you just take his word for it? The person who's been caught in the most lies in human history, you're just going to take that guy's word for it? Wayne says, during World War II, when PT boats in the South Pacific shot down Japanese pilots, they would attempt to rescue downed pilots. If successful, the pilots would often explode or try to explode a grenade, the kamikazes. I believe it. Yeah, Japanese were like that. They have that honor. That's why they did the kamikaze stuff. If I was Japanese, I would not be cool with that. I'm sorry, I ain't got your honor. I'm not killing myself. Yeah. If y'all, I don't know what part. We can look it up right now if you want to see where Venezuelan drugs go. Like, that's not the problem. If we want to worry about the drugs, we got to stop the fentanyl from coming across the border, the southern border. Yeah, well, I would not blame you.
But the thing is that Trendy Agua are the ones that are connected to Maduro, which is the president of Venezuela, and that's how they're getting all this cocaine.
Connected how? I don't.
No,
most of the fentanyl, like over 80%, maybe even over 90%, comes through smuggled by U.S. citizens, not by gang members. But
in Venezuela, it's cocaine. 33 million lethal doses they make every year. So it's considered an air bridge. You got to get rid of that gang over here. There is some drug issues, obviously. People are ODing all the time. But I think the whole problem with Venezuela is the oil, but that's the secondary.
Well, if you have the boat in your view and you're above them with the drone, why can't you just follow them to where they're going and arrest them there?
Now, they've shot 22 of those boats, or whatever, 22 of those boats from September 2nd to December 4th. I think that is wild. So I hear that. You don't know what's on the boats, but I guess that's their, like, what do you call it? Kind of like, here's your warning. Do what we say, or we're going to keep shooting these boats. But what if the boats, like you said, aren't really got drugs in them or something? They're just decoys.
Even if they do, that's not a death sentence, especially whenever it's in international waters. It's like it's a war crime, I guess. Not a war crime because we're not at war. But Dr. Strange says now that border crossings are down, it's causing a squeeze. Coming here ain't as attractive as it was. Yeah, nobody wants to come here because they don't want to get beat up by ICE. Even if you're a legal non-citizen, if you just look Hispanic, they're probably going to beat the crap out of you. So I don't blame them. All right, a lot has been talked about affordability lately. Trump even said that affordability is like this new word that Democrats just made up, and it's a Democrat scam. But if you go back to when he was campaigning, one of the quotes that he said was, starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. So apparently he has heard that word before. And I think it's kind of wild that he's playing this whole thing like it's all a Democrat scan, affordability, and his whole promise to get elected was that first thing and the main thing he's going to do is bring prices down. Do you feel like he's done that at all, Grandma, or do you think he's full of it?
Well, I think he's been compromised and he's not following with what he says. I mean, there's no way in any shape or form I would have ever voted for Kamala. I will tell you. That woman is.
But you only have two options. The other option is a pedophile con man.
But you know what? They're all,
What's wrong with Kamala? She has a degree in
everything. They all have this horrible thing. Biden, his daughter wrote a book and he took showers with her. I mean,
so
they're all like that.
What's wrong with taking showers with your kid?
I took showers with you can't help it.
I took showers with my kid whenever I was a single dad, and we only had a shower, didn't have a bathtub. To sexualize that is just kind of silly. I mean, that's just them kind of trying to say that he's the pedophile, not our guy, when your guy is the best friend of Jeffrey Epstein. But first, I want to know what you didn't like about Kamala, because the main issue was the economy, and she literally has a degree in economics. So what do you not like about Kamala?
What was there to like about her? I mean, she couldn't make a sentence come straight at all. She did her history was awful. She spent $1.3 billion in 3 months on her campaign. She has no idea how to control anything. She was just a puppet. Now, I think Trump's now a puppet, but she was for sure a puppet at the time.
She was a lot more independent than Trump, definitely, and her sentences made a lot more sense than Trump's. So I don't understand how you didn't understand her sentences. Like I said, she's college educated. She was an attorney general. She has degrees in law. So obviously she's a smart person. I never had a problem understanding her, and I feel like people like to make these little clips up about her during the election and just put like a 2-second clip there and pretend like she said, oh, and she smiled real funny. But yeah, you're talking about somebody who is the vice president and a former senator and everything else. So it's not like she was a dummy like they try to pretend.
She sure couldn't she never showed her intelligence on anything I seen on her. And I would watch all the different shows. They had, how many edits did they have to do when she did her 60-minute interview?
That is such okay. So if you look at the edit and you see which one what they posted, they actually posted the other version on their morning show. They just split it up in 2 ways, and they really didn't take anything out. But at the same time, Trump was on Fox News giving an interview, and they asked him would he release the Epstein files, and he said yes, and it stopped right there. But in the actual version, he said yes, and then he says, oh, actually, it might hurt some people, so probably not. But they cut that part out. Now that was real editing that changed what was being said. Well, Kamala was edited, changed nothing at all.
Well, there's nothing about her that I felt like was strong, intelligent. She did not give me any warm and fuzzy feelings. Who was I going to vote for? I was going to vote for Robert Kennedy Jr., and he dropped out. I wasn't going to vote for either one of them because I wasn't happy with either one of them. But there was no way to me, the lesser of the two evils was Donald Trump, because at the time he had a backbone, but he's lost his backbone. So I'm not really a supporter of his now.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. Good to see Mr. B, the OG, in the chat. My man, if you're still here, sorry, I'm just catching up with the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. Dr. Strange says, not only that, but the federal resources and programs that were set up for them to come here have been dismantled and stopped. It's not just ICE, it is who is using ICE. Well, yeah, I mean, is that a good thing? I mean, it's not like the illegals, illegals don't get anything from the government besides emergency health care. And we can talk about that. You obviously have to do that. But besides that, they don't get anything. So now you're talking about legal non-citizens. Should we really be taking away benefits from legal non-citizens? That includes people like exchange students. We're not going to have exchange students no more. I'm sure nobody wants to come here anymore. But those are people like refugees. We're the ones that invited refugees to come here because we probably are the ones that destabilized their government in the first place, just like it is with Somalia. Denny LC says, that's the problem, having to choose the lesser of two evils. That's how it is every year. That's how it's always going to be. I don't know. We had Bernie once. $2.59 per gallon, $1.99 a dozen for eggs, $2.99 per pound of butter. Is that down or up from when he took office? I hear a lot of people say that it's up right now, but I don't really pay that much attention to it. Your guy didn't even win a primary, and I hated the way they did that, and I can understand that as being a reason not to vote for her. However, the other option is Trump. Kathy says, cannot stop the border crossings. Well, the whole deal with the border crossings, as I've mentioned many times, is Title 45. I always forget the number, but Title 45 was going on because of COVID, so it backed up all the border crossings. A lot of people were backed up waiting to come in. Title 45 ended, and then everybody rushed in. So it felt like there was a bunch more people than usual, but because of that period when Title 45 wasn't letting anybody in, it was still an average of about 1 million immigrants per year, which is what we've done for the last 20 or 30 years. Joe Biden 2028, he ain't even going to be around, sir. John says, who had the Epstein files first? Democrats? These must be people from your channel. No. If you haven't read any news or anything, you have to understand that the Ghislaine Maxwell trial was going on when Biden was president. It ended right before he left office, but they filed an appeal right away. So everything was locked down. He couldn't release them even if he wanted to. And it wasn't he wasn't the one who promised to release it. It was Trump who promised to release it. But as soon as he got into office, changed his mind. It's a word salad if you don't understand it, and if you don't understand it, that might be a comprehension thing, not necessarily the words coming out of her mouth. Let's see.
She was definitely word salad for sure.
Kamami tossed her, and Trump's not. Can we pull up some interviews? Kamami got tossed around the block.
Trump is just so negative these days.
Including Montreal, and the people from California I know that were in here district have nothing good to say about her ever. Oh, Kamala. I thought you were talking about Ma'am Donnie for some reason. Kamala. Well, I don't know a ton about her. She was definitely establishment, but so was every Democratic president, including Obama. It's like I said, the lesser of two evils, in my opinion, was the obvious one. Doesn't mean I like her. Willie Brown and his $800,000 endorsement for throat massages. It's amazing that you support Donald Trump and you would say one thing about Kamala, a woman, having sex with one person, when Donald Trump is Epstein's best friend and cheated on all of his wives, cheated on one of his wives with the porn star while she was pregnant, giving birth to her baby, and he blamed Kamala for one blowjob? That's absolutely hypocrisy. And to me, what I always say is you can see who the bad people are by looking at the hypocrisy. That's how you point it out every time, because Trump's a hypocrite all the time.
Just name one good person up there in Washington. Name one good person.
Bernie. I love me some Bernie. Do you like Bernie?
I just feel like his resume sucks, but I don't dislike him.
He's a cool guy.
I did like Elizabeth Warren for a long time.
I like Elizabeth Warren. Wayne says, when the Dems had the House, the Senate, and the White House, why weren't the files? I just explained that. Doctor says, trust me, they got more than you know. I came from the main immigrant population place in America. And yeah, they got programs and set aside the illegals. I mean, I'll need to see some sources on that, sir. It's against the law for illegals to receive any federal money. However, there's states like New York, and I know you used to live in New York, and California, they do state money or local money, and that's a little bit different. Explain how 10 million immigrants came in 3 years. I'll explain it very easily. It's not 10 million, it's 20 million according to Trump, because he just makes up numbers. There's no 10 million. If there's 10 million illegals, how did you count them? They're illegal. They didn't stop by and check in. How are you counting them? You can't believe the person who got caught in the most lies in the history of human civilization. Don't take him for his word.
So who tells the truth up in Washington?
Nobody in Washington, but Trump blatantly lies to your face for his own personal gain. That's a little bit different. Some people stretch the truth a little.
They all lie.
No, that's like whenever you were in chat last time, you're like, well, Hillary called his supporters deplorables once. That's like 20 years ago, and Trump calls them Democrats evil Satan worshipers every day. That's not equal. Is that equal to you?
It is so equal.
It doesn't seem equal.
It is so bad.
All right, let me catch up with the
Either
chat.
way, they shouldn't be calling us anything. We're the ones that pay their salaries.
What? You ain't wrong about
No
that.
matter if it's Trump, Hillary, or whoever.
Doc says if the veil wasn't lifted in Minnesota with the Somalians, everyone would be saying they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. This stuff going on in Minnesota is kind of crazy. A lot of Somalians, not a lot of them, I don't know how many, but some Somalians were caught doing, I can't remember all the specifics. I just saw one thing about it, but they got caught doing some type of Medicare scam or something for like millions of dollars. But now they're blaming like the whole entire Somali community in Minnesota, which is a huge community. And obviously not all of them got millions of dollars from a Medicare scam. So it's kind of like racism, the way, I mean, not even real racism, but like ethnicism. I don't know. Dr. Strange is agreeing with you, Grandma.
Yay! Thank you, Doctor Strange.
John is not
Yay.
agreeing with me. I haven't read it yet, but I already know. You can't say what Trump did in his private life, but you were just talking about what Kamala did in her private life. He was civilian. That is much different than what Kamala did when she was in public office. Because she dated a dude? I don't understand. What do you think she did? She dated a dude. You're trying to say that she dated this guy to get office, but she was elected in office. She didn't blow all the people that voted for her. So how do you think blowing one guy gets her elected in a public election, sir? That's not how that works. Bernie is an anti-black racist too. What? He marched with Martin Luther King Jr. What are you talking about? Get out of here. John says one guy cheating on his wife in his private life. See, now all of a sudden you started talking about Kamala's $800,000 blowjob. I don't know who you are, bro, but I don't agree with anything you say, sir.
But wait a minute. What about Clinton in the White House, right?
Yeah.
That was his personal life. But how many people are set up? Was that all a setup? All these weird things. So at some point we gotta just say, what is it that they're doing? Who was it? Was it Kennedy? Don't ask what you could do for don't ask what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country. Right. So whatever they're doing in their personal life is their personal life. Kamala, Kennedy, he was a real bad cheater, by the way.
Yeah.
Clinton,
I've talked about that before.
We have so many crazy stuff in politics.
And I feel like the reason why those politicians get into office is because it's purposeful. First they get blackmailed, and then the people who blackmailed help them get into office because they know they have leverage over them.
Exactly.
And that's why Trump's
kind of funny that Monica Lewinsky got all these deals for her purses and stuff, moved to Europe and made lots of money on.
Well, she had a famous name, so I can see why that made her famous.
Or was she a setup?
Oh, that's possible too. I never heard that theory. I'd have to look into it. Wayne says, I didn't hire or vote for Trump based on moral purity, just like I don't hire my auto mechanic or electrician for his moral purity. Yet,
good job, Wayne. I agree with you 100%.
Yet, whenever it comes to talking about a Democrat that you don't like, you will immediately point to their morality or things that they've done in that same way. So,
but Clinton was one of my favorite presidents. And I just felt like that was none of my business. I did like Bill Clinton.
Yeah, I don't think it was enough to get impeached for, although it was obviously not a good thing. But
I think what Wayne's saying and what I'm trying to say is just what I said about what Kennedy said. Don't ask what your country could do for you, but what you could do for your country. Same thing with the politicians. What are they doing for our country? Their personal lives to personal life, because they're as screwed up as we are. They're more screwed up than we are. But
true. Then he says it's all just a show. End of the day, they're all backstabbing buddies, and we see that happen, playing out live in front of our faces. These political conversations are destroying your show. You do not have to watch me at all. I do not mind. You know exactly who I am. I'm Florida State Makeover, and you blocked me on my other account, and you thought I would go away. I don't remember ever blocking Florida State Makeover. I like Florida State Makeover. You used to come to my live streams all the time. I don't block anybody. I'm not blocked. I blocked one person who was a troll when I first started my stream. And I blocked like 8 of his accounts because he kept making new accounts. But I've never blocked you, sir. Maybe on Twitter. I block everybody on Twitter. Dr. Strange says, he marched with King, so what? Many people do things for political over personal reasons, and that was political for Bernie, not personal. What did he gain in the 1960s by marching with Bernie Sanders politically? I think that would hurt him politically. I don't know about all that, man. You send me a source, Doc. You got a video for me to research. Literally the first one to bring up moral stuff. No, you brought up Kamala getting a $800,000 blowjob. You brought it up first. Literally, I responded to that. We can go back. It's recorded. People like Bernie show up when it helps their... He's been here forever, bro. He's been here for 800 years. What do you mean he shows up? He's been here forever. All right, let's move on to a couple more screenshots that I have. This is Representative Dan Goldman. He's in the House of Representatives. He says Elon Musk paid an effective tax rate of 3.3% and Jeff Bezos paid 1%. These are the richest people in the world. They're paying, this is the tax they're paying. They get these tax-free loans against their own stock. So there's different ways that they can do it. And he's introducing an act that would tax loans and generate at least $276 billion for universal health care and other programs. And that, of course, will not pass. Maybe after the midterms, because I think the Democrats are going to win a lot. But once again, as I always bring up every week when we get to the political section, the problem is the wealth gap, and it just keeps growing. It's getting bigger and bigger. This Americans for Tax Fairness is a big Twitter account. They tweeted this the other day, said, I still can't believe we actually let rich people start racking up billions of dollars in unrealized capital gains, the one type of income that doesn't get regularly taxed. And if you remember, Democrats tried to propose a tax on capital gains, and their proposal was only to affect people who made over $4 million in a year. And every day on every right-wing talk news, they would talk about that proposal and say, it affects you, it affects everybody. They do that every time that the people on the left try to raise taxes on the rich. They repackage it and tell them that they're trying to raise taxes on everybody. Have you noticed that yourself, Grandma?
I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, but what I do know, I worked at different surveys and had to dig through 10Ks and do all of that for different companies. So what happens is your president will make the same amount of money as your employee, right? But then they get this big bonus, but they put it like in stocks or whatever. They roll it over somehow. So they end up making millions of dollars, not even, and their employees are making 12 an hour, which drives me crazy. But the way that they are doing it and putting it in the bank accounts or put it in the 401k or however they roll it in, their dividends and etc., makes it where it's not as taxable. But then if you have a rich person like a billionaire, they're not making money. They make it where they don't have an income. If they don't have an actual income, how do you tax them? You tax them on their money that they have in the bank or in their assets. So the tax code is wrong. And how would you do that? Is it fair that they tax you on your savings you saved all this time?
You tax unrealized capital gains.
But if you are smart, okay, just me as a person, I have $10,000 in the bank in a savings account. I've already got taxed on it to put it in the savings account. So am I going to have to pay taxes on it sitting in the bank, or am I going to get cash and hide it in my house?
You don't make $4 million a year.
For it.
All these tax proposals are only for people who make more than $4 million a year.
I just use that as an example.
Oh. Well, that's my point, is that every time that they make these proposals, it's not for you, but they make it feel like it's for you, that you're being attacked, but it doesn't affect you at all, except for positively, because there's more revenue for the government.
And I'm not saying that they don't need to be taxed. And I know the point is, like I said in your live the other day, the tax code is like 2,000 pages long. There's all these loopholes, right? And that's a loophole. You cannot fix it until, and I liked Ted Cruz. You know, he's like, when he ran, the primary to be president or whatever, he's like, let's make the tax code 2 or 3 pages. Maybe Ron Paul said it too. Rand Paul or whatever. So that's what you got to do. You got to get rid of all the loopholes, because that's how we're getting in this circle and why we're coming up with billionaires and trillionaires, because we have too many loopholes in the tax code. And then you can have your money in all these different foreign accounts and hidden in, I supported this thing and supported that thing. There's so many loopholes. I don't know if you've ever filled out a long form, or if you figured out, if you've had to do like your own business and be able to follow all the little steps. There are so many loopholes.
Yep. And now they're defunding the IRS, so there'll be even less investigators. Let me catch up with the chat.
Sorry.
John says, double check. Okay, tell me your exact name. Maybe it was one of my moderators. I have moderators. They might have blocked you. All right. Maybe I blocked you because you were talking trash. I do that too. If you get on my nerves, it's possible. Depends on what mood I'm in. If I don't have coffee and you're talking trash. Doc says, read what I said. He ain't showed up for nothing. Black since the King era. What about... I don't know. There ain't really nobody black where he lives, though. Isn't he from, like, Vermont or something? It's not like he was riding with Malcolm. No, I don't think anybody was allowed to ride with Malcolm. I know it was before your time. Yeah, I don't know that much about it. I just know that he marched. But, I guess I could look into it. Yeah, no, I don't know a ton about it. A prime example of what is Tom... What? Oh, okay, I missed this one. That's why. Sorry. I liked Bill Proxmire. I've never heard of him. John F. Kennedy and many... old-time Democrats, the far-left faction has dragged the party into weirdo land. So what is weirdo? See, that everything that's considered weirdo and extreme is stuff that the majority of people agree with, like universal health care, and the majority of the rest of the world already does. So, we can get into, like, trans stuff. I like talking about that. I think it'd be interesting to see what Grandma Moore thinks about it. Let me catch up with the chat first, though. Kathy says maybe a universal sales tax. I'll tell you exactly what we need. It's called a marginal tax rate. It's what we had in the 1940s and the 1950s when we became the richest and most powerful country in the world. A marginal tax rate is when everybody pays the same tax rate, but once you make a certain amount, like $4 million a year, your tax rate goes up.
But you're still missing the point. That's still on income. You got to do it somewhere else. It can't just be on income.
Yeah. Taxing unrealized capital gains, things like that. Yeah. That's why you can't have a really simple tax plan, though. Danielle C says, I think if you make over a certain amount, you should be charged a luxury tax or be like Major League Sports and have a salary cap. People will not be happy with the salary cap, but I agree with the luxury tax. And that's basically what a marginal tax would be. All right, so here's what I think about trans rights, because this seems to be a big issue for people on the right. And if you ask, and I've mentioned this before, if you ask somebody on the left, they're like, why are you even talking about it? It's such a small issue. It affects so many few people. They want you to talk about it because to distract you, because it's really not an important issue. But I think it is an important issue because people on the right make it one of their top issues. So the way I look at the transgender thing is I see sex and gender as two different things. Sex is biological. It cannot be changed. Gender doesn't matter. Sex is what you should be chosen for when it comes to competitive sports. So if you were born a girl, you could play in girl sex sports. Gender shouldn't matter in sports at all, and that keeps trans athletes from not being in sports. And I've talked about many times lots of different reasons why I don't think trans athletes should be in competitive sports. So I think if you categorize sex from gender differently and make it so sex doesn't change, that solves the problem. What do you think about it?
Well, before I do that, I just want to go back to Wayne's thing where he said he liked the old time Democrats. I was a Democrat for a long time, and then now I'm not. And I think both parties have just gone off the charts. So I just wanted to say I think they're both weird. They both have the weird factor. But okay, about the trans thing, here's how I feel. Your life is your life. It's just like we were just talking about all the different politicians. What you do in your personal life is your business. Where I have a problem is, if you're underage, you should have to wait until you're 18 to do anything. I'll tell you, one of my kids wanted a belly button ring, I guess, where you get your belly button pierced or whatever. I don't know what that's called. And I said, all right, write me an essay of the pros and cons. And she wrote her essay. She didn't ask for it no more. Now, when she wanted her tongue pierced, she asked her father. She didn't come to her mom.
Smart.
But so I just feel like that across the board. It doesn't matter if it's about sexuality or getting your ears pierced, whatever. Most things I feel like you have to be 18 because it can have effects in your later life. And I do not want that responsibility to make that decision for you. And I don't think that it's right for somebody to make that decision for you because you're not old enough. Your brain hasn't developed enough to make those decisions and understanding what the consequences are. You know, my degree is in education and we had to learn how the brain works, right? And like the consequence thing, a lot of times don't happen until your mid-20s, like where your brain understands all the different consequences. So why would you put that on somebody? And let's say a girl decides to turn into a boy and later on in life she says, oh, I want kids, and it's too late. So why put all this pressure on these kids? And it's kind of like vaccines too. I feel like that in some of the vaccine situations. So I just think that we need to put less stuff on our children, let them grow up, and then discuss things with them. If you, whatever you do in your personal life is your business, just don't ask me to I don't want to say be involved, but don't push it on me. It's like I saw this thing where it said, oh, if you won't date a transgender person, then you're homophobic. That's not true. It's just not what I want, but I like you the same. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that makes you homophobic.
I just don't want to date you.
Yeah, that shouldn't make you homophobic at all. That's because, I mean, yeah, some of the people on the left, the far left are crazies. People on the far right are crazies. People on both groups are always going to have their crazies. But yes. I do see it as a civil rights issue. I don't know. Should people be allowed to change their gender? That's what I'm saying. Sex, no, it's biological. I think people should be allowed to change their gender. Now, when I worked at the courthouse, people would come in and change. I don't remember. I guess they're changing their gender. People would change their gender all the time. But if we did it by sex, then they wouldn't have to do that because your sex would never change. I don't know. Wayne says,
I definitely want to say I do not believe that there should be males in women's sports. Women work really hard to get sports at all, and then they just overpower the females, and their bodies are just not made the same. Once you go through puberty, there's a huge change in the bodies, and that's not okay, and it's not safe physically.
Yeah. I don't know if it'd be a huge change, but there are definitely changes that can be measured, and they've measured them before. And I don't understand why people on the left try to pretend like that doesn't exist, like that science doesn't exist. Wayne says progressive taxes only work until the business leaves the city or state, like in Chicago, Seattle, California. Then they jack up the tax on who's left, the homeowner, up 130% in some suburbs. Yeah, bro, if you say so. The businesses say they're going to leave, but they don't. And if they do leave, they get replaced. It's just like the people in New York who said they're going to leave if Mamdani's elected and we're going to have all these empty mansions. You don't think anybody's going to move into those mansions, bro? The price will come down a little bit and somebody will buy them. And lower house prices is not a bad thing. So there's nobody, I said this on Twitter the other day, I got a lot of likes. There's nobody in this world that are easier to replace than the rich people. We're all willing to take their place. If Walmart leaves, guess what? Target becomes big. And DNOC, I mean, that's kind of, I almost think like a non-binary section, but I don't know if they'd have enough to even have teams, you know? Doc says, I'm with Grandma. I voted for the couch. I'm going to let y'all have at it. Man, I'm done watching this never-ending game of tennis. It's all cooked anyway. We're all cooked anyway, honestly. And plus AI's coming. It's like, well, why does it even matter anymore? They're calling it the trans games, y'all. All right, we got to speed it up a little bit. This has been a long one. Try to get done before 8. But there's still a lot of topics I wanted to mention. So, all right, we won't get too deep into it. But as you know, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, and for the 4th year in a row he gave away less than the legal minimum required for charitable contributions. So this dude don't give no money to nobody, and he actually had an interview the other day where he talked about giving money to other people is like a bad thing, it's a weak thing, and I don't know, you know, all the stuff that they say about welfare, like, oh, you're going to be dependent on your charitable contributions. He just wants to keep all the money for himself. And then his buddy Peter Thiel is the person who's running Palantir now, and Palantir is now the software that's all up in our government, collecting all this data and putting it together. And if you don't know about Peter Thiel, like, he's from that South Africa apartheid place too, just like Elon Musk. They were both into the whole apartheid thing. Like, Peter Thiel went to an all German speaking school in South Africa, and they had the feeling, their parents instilled this idea in them that white people were the superior race, and now they're trying to disseminate that across all of the world, but mostly in America. And these are foreigners too. And if people who think that Elon Musk created PayPal, which is how he got rich, actually what happened was Peter Thiel created PayPal and moved into this building, and the office next to him was X.com. That was Elon Musk's failing business, and then they got together, and that's how they became partners. So it's these rich super billionaires that are controlling the world right now, and they're not even American, and they're literally from apartheid areas of the world, and they truly believe in apartheid. You can see the stuff that Elon Musk is tweeting right now. Like the last week, it's been like nothing but racist stuff and all about white superiority, basically. All right, also going on in Texas, the gerrymandering finally did get passed. So if you remember the story, Texas usually only changes their districts or voting districts once every 10 years. And then Trump tweeted one day, like, we could get 5 more red districts if y'all would gerrymander it right now. And then Greg Abbott says, all right, we're going to have this special session for this other unrelated thing. But since we're having it, let's go ahead and redistrict too, even though they never do it. So it's very, very clear that they're doing it only for political purposes and only to get more seats in Texas. And now Indiana, where we live, is trying to do it too. I think the Republicans at first said no, but now they're thinking about maybe doing it too. Now California voted to do it. What do you think about all the gerrymandering? Do you think it's fair? Do you think both sides do it equally?
You know, I really didn't give it a lot of thought. I heard them talking about it, and, you know, being in Indiana, they weren't going to vote for it, blah, blah. And then Trump went on TV and threw a fit and talked bad about our governor and blah, 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 and there was all this calling and JD Vance coming and stuff. And then all of a sudden they're going to vote on it and whatever. I think it passed. And I'm like, that's kind of, it might not have, maybe it passed in one chamber, but not the other chamber so far. But I thought for him to throw such a fit over it, it made me, gave me a red flag. You know, to mention it and, hey, what do you all think about this? That's one thing, having that dialogue. But just to act like that made me think that there's a major problem there, and it has to be complete political.
It's completely political, and they know that they're about to get their butts kicked in the midterms because
Yep.
Trump is so unpopular that now they're trying to do everything they can to sway the election. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy that people still support him. Wayne says socialism works for those who don't. Sean Reynolds, News for Reasonable People. I want to know your definition of socialism, because to me, socialism is giving $40 billion to Argentina to bail out Trump's rich friends who invested in Argentina's economy 4 years ago or 8 years ago, and they failed. So do they lose their money for failing? No, they get socialism. But you give somebody some food stamps so they can feed their kid, and now all of a sudden it works for people who don't work. Even though that lady has a full-time job at McDonald's or Walmart and makes like $8 an hour, and we're supplementing. Don't get me started. But you should have saw last week, bro. Go watch last week's stream. I was already talking just about this.
I do want to go back to Wayne's other comment about where the businesses are leaving the city and all that at the 130%. So I got an offer for one of my houses. It was a nice offer. So I started doing some research, and they were a good company, blah, blah. Okay. So that I forget maybe it was for some reason something came up, and I started researching it. What they do is they purposely buy a house in an area, one house, pay good, so you'll sell it to them, and then they resell it to their own company, like double the amount, so they can increase all the houses in the neighborhood and then make all this money. So it really does happen. They're trying to get people out. That way you have to pay. How was it worded? They're going to jack them up so high that you have to sell your house, and then you're going to pay them rent. So they end up winning over and over. So things like that really do happen. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, 100%. Shout out to Alejandro's in the chat. Still a member of my channel for over 3 years. Appreciate you, bro. My man Alejandro. We're going to be live streaming. We'll get to it when we get to tech. We're going to be live streaming on Friday, y'all. We got a drop.
Today, the United States is also signing.
Sorry, I probably should have queued that up. I forgot it was a video. So I'm going to show this video. I skipped a couple of them because we're running out of time and I want to get to tech and everything else. But I did want to show this because this is one of the things that not a lot of people are talking about in the world of politics, because there's so much going on that things like this end up getting skipped a lot. So I'll let you watch the video. It's really quick. It's Trump talking about what's going on over there in Africa, and then I'll explain what he actually is saying.
Today, the United States is also signing our own bilateral agreements with the Congo and Rwanda that will unlock new opportunities for the United States to access critical minerals and provide economic benefits for everybody. And we'll be involved with sending some of our biggest and greatest companies over to the two countries. And we're going to take out some of the rare earth and take out some of the assets and pay, and everybody's going to make a lot of money.
So he's saying that they're going over to Congo and Rwanda. They're taking our big companies, so we're talking about big private companies, and we're taking all their rare earth, and we're taking all their minerals, and we're going to make a lot of money. And the only thing that they're going to gain from this is they're going to have jobs that pay $2 an hour that last until they're done taking all their stuff. So now America's just openly just colonizing Africa again and taking all, just like they're doing to Ukraine, trying to take all their minerals and stuff. I mean, this is the guy that you support. Are you okay with that, Grandma?
I think they're doing it to places even here in the States with doing weather controlling so they can grab certain resources. And I just think that we need to leave people alone.
Well, if we stop voting for the people who are doing this, then maybe we would leave people alone, don't you think?
Well, I think that we need a whole new politician group.
Yeah.
Nobody up there, they're all compromised.
Yeah, that's the problem.
They all get money from their lobbyists. They all do insider trading.
Yep.
None of them are worth a dime to me.
And nobody's going to fix it. Everybody agrees, right and left. Every voter agrees. We need to get money out of politics. But do we get money out of politics? No, because the people who control that decision are the people getting the money in politics. Wayne says, right. Because of the decay of Portland's business structure, Big Pink, the largest skyscraper in Portland, sold recently for $40 million, where per pandemic it was valued at $400 million because of the decay of Portland's business structure. I don't know what's going up in Portland. That's crazy. Doc
is
says
crazy.
that's why BlackRock and Vanguard are buying up everything, all the houses, whole blocks in some places. That's the problem with the
Yes.
prices. They want to blame the illegals and immigrants. Like illegals are coming in here and just buying 3-story houses like it's nothing with cash. No, it's the private equity firms that are buying up all the single-family homes. That's driving the prices up and driving the rent up. And they're using algorithms and AI to drive the rent up. Doc says everybody's going to make a lot of money except the American people who pay for it with their tax money for this to even happen. And it's all colonizing. And the people in Africa aren't going to make any money. The only benefits they get are jobs that don't pay much and are temporary. Politics gets me mad sometimes, but I'm glad to have somebody on the other side to bounce ideas about it back and forth with. All right, let's move on to tech.
Wait a minute. I just want to go back to Doc Strange. Even Gaza Strip, that whole thing is crazy. You know, Trump Jr. might be having government contracts, but Jared Kushner, which is Trump's son-in-law, $50 billion in 10 years for the Gaza Strip. And then the whole Netflix, Warner Brother thing, how many billions of dollars is that? Or millions of dollars? It's just crazy. I think at least with Trump Jr., he's in the, at least it's, what do you call it, on paper. But with Jared Kushner, it's all this crazy stuff. He's just popping up, and it doesn't have to be on paper because he's not being involved, and he's getting all these weird deals, foreign deals and stuff. And that really concerns me a lot.
So that brings
And
me
is
back to
part of
how is
Trump
that
being compromised?
And okay, so this is, the Trump regime doing this, obviously. So how is that the lesser of two evils when compared to Kamala?
I don't think Kamala would be just like Biden, auto pen.
Okay, but at least we're not stealing money and giving it to her daughter and her kids. Billions of dollars. Which worse?
Okay, so I worked for the government. I'm an ex-federal employee. I was a contract, what is it called? I did contracts. I traveled the country, audited contracts, reviewed contracts. I was over multi-million dollars. When a new president comes, all the contracts are going to be over somebody else is taking over the contracts because they're going to give the contracts to their friends. Well known. We all know that. Problem is Trump Jr. is part of this. He's not the owner of these companies, but he's part of it. What's scary is not even that he's part of that, what they want out of it. Pete Hegseth, whatever his name is, 300,000 drones is what they're going to end up with. Why do they need that many drones? Are they going to control this in different ways? I'm worried about this contract in general that is 300,000 drones.
And we just had that thing.
Department of Commerce even wants 5,000. What does Department of Commerce need drones for?
It's going to be some new census takers, I guess. That's how they go door to door now for the census. I don't know. That's crazy. But yeah, with the drone thing, it's kind of crazy that this is happening now right after that big drone excursion in Virginia and on the East Coast. I don't know if you saw about it, where nobody ever really figured out what those drones were that people kept filming. And now they're ordering more drones. It's kind of scary to think about. Doc says this is what happens when you build a nation on a bad foundation and never atone. Everything from the laws to the system, all stolen concepts, not intellectual property. So here we are. Then he says during the gold rush, it's the supply and equipment companies that made the most money. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. When he says got to go, this was fun. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us, Wayne. This is my Tuesday show. We do it every Tuesday. So feel free to come by and hang out with us next Tuesday, too. We're going to get into our tech stuff. There is a drop that I do want to live stream. It's going to be on Friday, and it's a Panini drop. So this is the Panini drop, y'all. Let me know in the chat if you're going for it. It's called Bad Eggs. So usually Panini drops like baseball, basketball, WNBA. This is Bad Eggs. I don't really know what it is. It's season 2, and we'll talk about it a little bit. It's 30 new characters. The packs are $20 each, and there are going to be some one-of-ones in there. Bad Eggs, they look like that. That's what the Series 2 cards look like. And if you look at the prices on the market for the Series 1 cards, these are the one-of-ones. These are sold listings. Some of them sold for a lot. And even some of the epics are going for a couple hundred. I don't know how many people are actually buying them or not, but the people in my Discord server are not big fans. Abdullah says they literally rugged their NFT and token. Both are down over 90%, which is pretty much all NFT projects. So apparently Bad Eggs had their own NFT project before getting together with Panini. I don't know if we're going for this one or not. I saw somebody in the Discord said that they're max minting. They're buying as many as possible. Mr. Evo said he's buying as many as possible. I plan on live streaming it, but I'm gonna decide on the fly if we're going for it. Panini's been super hot. They've been selling out every drop, so everything you buy has been a profit. So I'm definitely gonna buy a couple packs at least. Maybe we can flip them. Last drop we made about $150. Drop before that we made like $1,200. So we'll see. Dr. Strange says the idea of Confederacy isn't European, it's Native American. Confederacy? Stolen concept, horribly executed due to lack of understanding. Just steal and adopt. Don't pay respect. That can be said for religion too, in my opinion. A lot of those religions are recycled. And then if you watched the interview with MTG on 60 Minutes, which I did, it was actually pretty interesting. They also did a segment on character AI, which freaked me the freak out because I didn't know this was a thing. So the person that was in the show was talking about her daughter, who she didn't even know that this app existed or that her daughter was using this app, but that her daughter had a friend that was an AI that was talking to her and talked her into killing herself. And they showed on there during the segment, somebody got on to, as a new user on character AI and looked up a bot that was supposed to be like a gym bot, like it would help you work out. And within like 24 hours, the gym bot was like saying some crazy sexual stuff to this person, and it was a kid. It was, you know, they put in that their age was like 14, and it's like asking about its sexual fantasies and stuff. So it scared me. I checked my kid's phone to see if he has any of these chat bots on here. Did you watch that segment too, didn't you?
I did, and it was very scary. And it was they said you didn't even have to put your age in. Like, it was for 14 and up. They're supposed to have fixed it now, but they played around with it, and they still could break into it because you could lie about your age. There was no verification needed, and they were not even nice. I mean, it was horrible.
And it's just the beginning. It's only going to get worse. And then we just had this big announcement today about Trump's one rule bill, where this is no AI regulation. This one rule trumps any state rule that they want to put on to regulate AI. So basically they want to say they want to give AI free reign, because all these AI companies, all the CEOs, all the owners are big Trump fans. They're all billionaires. They're in that billionaire class with them. They're all giving him money or whatever. So they're all working together, and they want him to, of course, deregulate everything. Some people would say it's a good thing to deregulate everything because this is an arms race, which if you look at it that way, maybe it is. If we regulated it, maybe we would fall behind, and then China gets to AGI before us and then takes over the world because of it. I don't know. But the whole AI thing's scary. The fact that now it's going to be completely deregulated also worries me. What do you think about this, Grandma?
Well, can't they regulate it for the public and then behind the scenes improve it? Why do they have to go ahead and just deregulate it and have it open to all these kids? I feel like our kids are under attack by all these different things.
Is exactly why. Because they want to feed that narrative to them. They want to make sure that they're feeding the narrative that they want them to hear, and they will hear it through the AI. It's not like this is just actual AI saying whatever it wants to say. It's programmed, and it says what the creator wants it to say.
True. And you know, it's just like, I just feel like they're sexualizing our kids with the transgender stuff, with the AI stuff, with the shows on TV. They just have these undertones. I mean, it's like, let the kids be kids. Where's all that little, you know?
Well, when your country is ran by actual pedophiles, I mean, like the elites, I'm not even talking about Trump, but the elites in general are a bunch of pedophiles. They were all in Jeffrey Epstein's island. That's why they won't release these documents. And when those are the people that are controlling the media, what do you expect?
True.
It's freaking gross.
Crazy.
Dr. Strange says, look it up, though. If you understand what a confederacy is, which I don't necessarily know what you mean by that, you'll see it's impossible to come from Europe. Plus, it's documented as Native American, along with the original version of the stolen Confederate flag. Yeah, I need to get into some of that information, dig into it, go down that rabbit hole. Are we seriously on the verge of Skynet and Terminators? Yes, it's called Palantir. That's basically Skynet now. All right, let me move on to everything else before I freak out here about AI, because that stuff always trips me out. This is
I'm just going to say, I did Life 360 because I got broke down and I needed my husband to find me. And so they had me sign up for Life 360. That is scary too. People are complaining. It tracks you 24/7. Everything you do, your phone charge. Is your phone charged? Did you stop too much? Did you speed? These apps are out of control.
What is Life 360? Is it like a driving app?
Well, it's like Life 360 is for you and your family, so you can see where your family is. So I could put all my kids on there, and at any moment I can open it and see where they're at with their phone, and it tells like I didn't know I hit the wrong button, so I got extra data. I knew how many times she used her phone while she drove, my daughter, how many times she used her phone while she was driving, how fast she went, how long it took her to get there. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, and whenever you sign up, it wants to know everything about you.
And they're going to
And I
send
just
all that
think
information to Palantir too.
I'm sorry?
They're going to send all that information to Palantir too and keep track of everything.
I know it. You know, when I was looking all this stuff up, it says the whole thing is to be able to track you. They want everything about you. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous, you know?
Doc says, vault during the Obama era. Oh, let me fix that. Sorry about that. I think I got that too high there. I got to fix that. Says during the Obama era, you had the Anthony Weiner laptop incident, rabbit hole. They all pedos. There's no left and right, bro. Oh, I understand. Or like Grandma Moore said, if the left wasn't in on it, they would have released all the Epstein files, even if there was under seal. GPS tracker for you, fam. Yeah, it's the big brother. Yeah, 100%. You ain't wrong. All right, this is the everything else section where we talk about anything you guys want to talk about. And I like to always, well, it's kind of my new thing, but I like to update you guys on some of my best eBay sales of the week. I put out a new eBay reselling video this week, and just, I guess it was 2 days ago, I just shipped it yesterday. This is my favorite sale of the week. This is a rare vintage 1980s swing can. So I found this at the Goodwill bins. So I paid $1.99 per pound, and it weighs less than a pound. And when I looked it up, I saw like 3 or 4 of them out there. None of them on eBay, but on different websites. They had sold for 50, 60 bucks. And I saw different brands, but I could not find this one anywhere. It didn't exist anywhere. So I put it up as like being rare 3 or 4 months ago and completely forgot about it. And then out of nowhere, it sold a couple days ago for full price, $99.99. And I've been having some really good sales this week. It's Christmas time, of course. I just noticed this as I pulled this up. My Gucci bag just sold again for $200. I'm going to show y'all some more sales. But first, and Grandma Moore, pay attention. I'm going to give y'all some alpha. This is real alpha. Pay super attention to this. They're called the McDonald's Grinch socks. Right now, you can get the McDonald's Grinch meal for $11.50. In that Grinch meal, you get a pack of McDonald's Grinch socks. They're a blind box. You can't see what's inside. If you open them, they could be red, yellow, green, or blue. So these are selling now. I just sold one for $22.50. They're selling for about 25 bucks each. And you also get this Grinch salt with it too that's selling for 10 bucks each too. Now here's the thing. I went yesterday and got one. Me and my son both got one. They had just gotten them, and we both got our socks. I got them up here for sale. As you can see, I sold one. Then today after school, we went back to the same McDonald's to get another one, sold out. So we went to the McDonald's in my town, sold out. These are getting sold out everywhere. I'm thinking about delisting mine because the price is only going to go up. I don't know. There's not a lot of advertising about this right now. It hasn't really gone viral yet. I've been seeing a lot about it on Facebook. But this might be the thing to grab to stock up on this year. If they run out of them and you got 5 or 10 of them and people are trying to put the set together, people are trying to get all 4, and apparently the red one's the most expensive, hold on to these. They could be worth a bunch. They're already worth 22 bucks.
We tried to buy some. They were sold out. He said they sold out in like 2 days.
Yep.
And they don't know if they'll get any more or not. So if you get them, grab them.
I still got one pair I haven't sold. Like I said, I got one pair that sold today, one pair I haven't sold yet, and I got some of that salt too. This is another thing I picked up at the Goodwill bins I just shipped today. A vintage 1940s 50 piece of luggage, a train case, sold for 70 bucks. Not something that a lot of people would know is worth picking up. This one was really good too. I had some really good sales. And then this jacket I've had forever, like 4 or 5 years. The BMW duck down jacket, sold for 80 bucks. But as I was shipping it, sometimes you see the stuff down here, other people's listings. I saw the exact same jacket being sold for 30 bucks. So I got lucky on that sale. Happy for it. Had a few good sales. I've been selling a lot of printers, making a lot of money on the printers. And then another thing I wanted to talk about during everything else is I wanted to get into movies a little bit, and I told Grandma Moore to pick out or tell us her top 5 movies. But before we do that, I'll show you guys a movie that I watched recently. See if anybody's in here has watched it. It's on Netflix. It's called Passengers. And I won't give anything away about it, but I want to give y'all the plot to it because it's kind of crazy. So basically it takes place in the future, like we're talking 800-900 years. And Earth has become crowded, so now we're starting to populate other planets. And these people are on their way to a new planet to populate, and it's 96 years away. So what happens is you get on the ship, they cryogenically freeze you, you sleep until you get there, you wake up 6 months before you get there, and you're on this luxury ship until you arrive to your new planet. So that's where this movie takes place, on the ship onto the new planet, and everybody's cryogenically frozen, so everybody's asleep. But a giant meteor hits the ship, and one person wakes up. It breaks their thing, and so they wake up, and they realize that they're only 11 years into the ship, so they've got 80-something years to go. So they're going to die on this ship. There's no way to go back to sleep. So after a couple years of being on the ship by himself, he sees this hot girl that he doesn't know that's sleeping the whole time. He makes the decision to wake her up too. But to do that, you know you're killing her because she has to stay on that ship. But you don't want to be there by yourself the whole time. So would you put another person's life at risk of waking them up so that you don't have to be alone this whole time? I don't know. And then, of course, a lot of other crazy stuff happens during the whole movie. You guys should check it out. Like I said, it's on Netflix. It was pretty good. I've seen a few movies lately, and most of them sucked, but this one was pretty decent. All right, Grandma Moore, give us your top 5 favorite movies of all time. I'm guessing Grease is in the top 5. I could be wrong.
Nope, you're wrong. Number 1 is The Champ.
Is that your favorite or your fifth favorite?
Number 1 favorite is The Champ.
What is The Champ? I don't know if I know
The
that.
Champ is it was like 1978 or 1979. It has Ricky Schroeder. He's like 6 years old, and the dad's a boxer, and the mom is doing whatever. So the dad's kind of taking care of him, and he has a rough time, and the mom kind of wants to see him, but the dad's raising the kid, and it just, as soon as I start watching, I start crying. So I love that movie.
I think I remember have seen that before, like when I was a kid. Well, all right, what's number 2?
Number 2, The Outsiders.
Dang.
I mean, you gotta love all the 80 stars are in The Outsiders.
Yes.
And then, of course, it's a great story. And of course, I read the book. The book's ending's different than the movie ending, so I recommend reading the book and watching the movie.
I remember you liking that when I was a kid too. All right, what's your number 3 movie?
Fast and the Furious series.
Really?
I love fast cars.
I've never seen any of them.
You haven't seen any of them?
I've never seen any of them.
Number 5 is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
So, but yes, one of my fetishes is whenever I'm not doing anything, I like to go on YouTube and watch live police chases. I think they're so much fun, and I can watch live police chases for hours and hours.
I don't know if I would call it. I don't know if I would call it a fetish. I don't think that's a fetish, but okay. Yeah, I hear you. All right.
A hobby.
Okay.
Maybe hobby's better. 4 is Splash, and
which
I love
Flash?
Splash. Huh?
Which Flash? There's a few of them.
There's a few Splashes.
Oh, Splash. With Tom.
One with Daryl Hannah.
Tom Hanks.
And Tom.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you said Flash, like the superhero movie. I was like, cool.
Oh no. I knew it so well that I could say word for word the whole movie. And my grandma, until the day she died, she called me and say Splashes on because I drove her crazy with it.
I watched it several times too. Yeah.
I guess my last one would be Stand By Me.
Stand By Me. I watched that just maybe last year or this year. I watched that recently. It was on Netflix or something.
Oh, really?
I mean, I've seen it before, but yeah.
What about you? What's your favorites?
My favorite, I've probably talked about many times. It's been a while, though, on my channel. I'm a big fan of Stephen Chow. Probably don't know who that is. He's a famous director in China. So my favorite movie of all time is called Journey to the West. It was directed by Stephen Chow. And my second favorite movie of all time, you may have heard or seen this one, it's called Kung Fu Hustle. And that one's also directed and starring Stephen Chow. That was released in America. They're like my favorite movies. They're awesome. My number 3 is going to be Frailty, which I know I showed that once to Sarah, and you watched it with us at your house one time. It's the movie with Matthew McConaughey, and it's like the Hand of God killer.
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Oh, it's so good. It's such an underrated movie. All right, number 4 was going to have to be a toss-up between Half-Baked and Road Trip, my 2 college movies. Love them. And then number 5 got to be Shawshank. Shawshank used to be my favorite movie, but I've seen it so many times. And plus now I love Stephen Chow movies, but it's staying in my top 5 list. Scarface is close up there too.
I tell you what about Road Trip. Mm-hmm. We were at a soccer tournament, and Sarah was like, I don't know, 7th or 8th grade, and she had her little friend with her, and we wanted to go see a movie, so we take them to see Road Trip.
With Tom Green?
Like, yes.
Oh, God.
And they're middle schoolers. I had to tell this mom I let her kid watch that movie.
Oh, my God.
And we were at the movie theater. I was so embarrassed I let them watch it.
No, that's not for kids. We used to watch that in college all the time.
Oh, my God.
Definitely not for kids.
We did not know. I mean, we were just in between soccer games trying to keep busy. And we thought, oh, well, this will be a funny movie, and it was not. Okay.
It is a funny movie, in my opinion.
It is a funny movie, but not for kids.
Dr. Strange says Splash is a classic. Messed my brain up as a kid. Yeah, I watched it as a kid because it was like her favorite movie, one of her favorite movies. We've seen it several times. If you like mermaids and you've never seen Splash, check it out. Denny says, I was just telling my kid about Kung Fu Hustle, one of the top movies of all time. Grandma Moore, if you haven't seen it, look it up. Kung Fu Hustle is awesome. And if you like Kung Fu Hustle, Denny and Thanu, check out Journey to the West. Same director, so the same style of movie, even better story. It's funny, it's awesome, it's got all the action in it. So yeah, check that out. All right, let's wrap it up, man. I think it's been a great live stream. We went almost a full 2 hours. We had lots of stuff to talk about, even though we don't necessarily agree on everything in politics. There was quite a few things that we did agree on, which I think that's always the case. So thank you, Grandma Moore, for hanging out with us. As I mentioned earlier, the link to her YouTube channel is down in my description if you want to subscribe. And before we leave, I'll have her tell you about her channel a little bit more if you're just joining us, because you might not have heard her at the beginning.
Well, I really wanted to say thank you, OG, for letting me be on here. I loved it. A lot of fun. Thank you all for participating in the chat. And my channel is about the gig apps. I do ride-alongs. I do lives. I'm trying to change a few things up, so who knows what tomorrow brings, but also do daily devotions every morning and doing Bible studies on Thursday mornings at 10 lives.
Awesome. And a member of the channel. She's always in the chat with us on Tuesdays, almost always. So appreciate you for that. Thank you, everybody in the chat now, for hanging out with us. Denny, you saw Journey. Did you see part 2? Part 2 is really good, too. That should be in my top 5. Shout out to Thanu, Denny, everybody in the chat, Dr. Strange. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Like I said, I'm going to be live streaming on Friday. Drop starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, I'll be back next Tuesday for next week's Paranormally Correct live stream. Have a great week. Later, everybody.